Welcome back to Tottenham on Tour's world famous Christmas Advent calendar. It is day number 12. 12 days of Christmas have gone, boys. Partridge in a pear tree is about to happen. All that stuff. It's a great time of year, and we're joined by, of course, Barryson Royale, Nickerson Royale, Shaun, whatever name you want to call him. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm very well. We've obviously had a surprising result at the Etihad a few days ago. A few days have gone by, so yeah, it's interesting. So I'm okay. 12 days to go. 12 days gone.
Yep.
So we're
we're on the halfway line.
What is the 12th day on
We're
the
halfway
Christmas?
there.
I think it's 12 Lords of Leaping, isn't it?
12 Lords of Leaping.
There you go.
Is it 12 Lords of Leaping? It is
Alexa,
12 Lords of Leaping.
Day number 12. The 12 days.
The 12th day of Christmas occurs on
No, I don't need to know the... Never ask her.
Never ask her. She'll always get it wrong.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love sent
Well,
to me...
this isn't the 12th day. It's actually the first day of Christmas.
Alexa doesn't know.
Because it's 12 days. So actually, the 13th is the first day of Christmas.
Is it? So is it Partridge in a Pear Tree tomorrow? I don't know.
Partridge in a Pear Tree tomorrow. So, Mr. Dagul, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, apart from Alexa showing her true stupidity. What can I say? We got Nick here. And I just realised as we're doing this, this is like the third Christmas I've known Nick. It's like was around this time at Christmas where the whole Nick, Barry, Shaun, Phil, Grant and all that started.
They'll put on for you.
Man, time has flown.
Blimey, yeah, it's free, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, it's insane how playing it's ridiculous. But anyway, we're on the 12th day. There's only one way to start this.
Yeah.
Christmas cracker joke. Nick, what's your Christmas cracker joke?
Well, it's who is Rudolph's favourite singer?
Or don't know. Haven't heard this one before.
Ben looks intrigued.
Yeah, I do.
Who is it?
It's Beyonce, of course.
We've had Elvish Presley. So it's been close. It's a good one. All right, Ben, I'll go next. I think these are random this time. So, how does Santa feel when he gets stuck in a chimney?
I don't know.
Claustrophobic. That's the exact sound. Go on, Ben, hit us with it.
And finally, the worst one of the lot. What does a snowman eat for breakfast?
Not a clue.
Snowflakes.
Well, so, do you know what?
Let us know in the comment section or in the preview chat who had the best or worst Christmas cracker.
I was going to say you could go either way with the best.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can tell the difference.
The whole point, isn't it?
I don't know how you tell the difference in the best and the worst out of those three. But anyway, let's get on to talking about some players. Number 12 normally used to be a substitute number when I started watching football. Now it's a squad number. 5 players to talk about. We've kind of brought some people in for a reason. It's a player that they love. And I think you've got by the name of the cough. We've got a player coming up. But no, we're going to start with David Howes. An oldie now, but was very, very new to me. Ben, over to you.
I don't know much about David Howes. The only thing I really know is he played in the first ever game I saw at the brand new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the game with Inter Milan legends versus Tottenham Hotspur legends. And David Howes really got about himself that game. He really got stuck in. And he actually got into a couple of fights in that game. He was known, David Howes, as being a bit of a... I'm not going to go as far as hard man, but he got amongst it. He was not someone you pushed over. And you can see from his record, 277 games and an FA Cup win. So he's in an era when you started to pass in from a really good moment of the 80s into that really bad moment of the 90s. But an FA Cup, you can't scoff at it. He's the only player on this current list that's actually won something. So David Howe's really decent player, and I respect him. I respect that he got amongst it. I've seen him play football, so that's a really good thing on this list. A lot of these players I've never actually seen play football, but he's one of the players I have seen. So yeah, we'll go to Nick. Nick's more likely to have seen him.
Well, first of all, that's an insult. Second of all, I was only 9 years old at the time, so I didn't see him play. But obviously, he's like you said, on this list of players, the last one on this list of 12s that has won the FA Cup all in time ago, 32 years ago and counting. So yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, really, that it's been 32 years since we won the FA Cup, and obviously we were the ones that were setting the standard, and everyone else has just kind of caught us up and overtaken us. So yeah, look, I think it's like Ben. I was at that game as well. The first game at the test event, or whatever it was called, test event 2. Test event 2 or test event 3 or whatever test event they were calling it when you logged into your account. And I mean, I'm sure actually Mr. Brian Dagul will probably be able to educate us both, I think, Ben.
Yeah, I actually
he got amongst it though, didn't he, Nick? David Howe. He got amongst it.
He did get amongst it, yeah.
First of all, I will say I'm surprised test event 1, 2, 3 wasn't one of the naming rights for the stadium. Who would have thought? But no, listen, Ben, you said you wouldn't call David Howe's a hard man. I most certainly would call David Howe's a hard man, but not the Roy Keane type
he could play.
Basically, if you ever hear in an interview, he's got one of the softest spoken voices you ever could wish to hear. You know, there's people we have on the YouTube community, like Brian Ireland, like Jacob, that have those soothing voices. He has one of those, but he wouldn't go looking for trouble. But if trouble flared up, David Howe would be right there amongst it. Listen, I got to a very, very combative midfielder. Not the most elegant. He wasn't like you'd expect him to get you out of trouble or whatever, with a bit of flair to save a game with a tackle or a tactical foul, should we say. You could definitely count on him. But this man, along with another, there's 2 players in this 12 that deserve a huge amount of respect for
3 players, in fact,
for what they went through. Now, David Howe is one of the first people I ever knew that played football on the day of a parent dying. His dad died. We were playing West Ham. He didn't want to let the team down. He played. He scored. Unfortunately, we lost. But you could see the emotions. You could only imagine. Please God, sorry. I was about to say, thank God we haven't experienced it, and please God, it's a long, long, long time coming that we have to say goodbye to a parent. But to go and do your job in any walk of life is one thing. To go out to the football pitch in front of millions around the world to see it is another. And for that, he will get ultimate respect from anyone. The next player, he had to come in here.
It's the exact opposite of David Howe. Someone like David Howe gets all the respect in the world. Stuart Nethercott is a total joke. We've had this laugh, Brian, many a time. I don't know anything about Stuart Nethercott, and that is, I don't want to insult the guy because he's from Hotspur. And I've got the crest on my head as on my Christmas hat, but it's a laugh. It's almost in the Gregor's Raziak era, not era. Greg's a banner of bad footballers. He was not a good footballer for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. There's a reason he only played 53 games for the
I'm
sake.
surprised he plays that many, Ben.
He was an awful footballer for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I can't say anything because I have never seen him. I wasn't there. I wasn't born. And I don't hear the stories like a Gaza or a Hoddle or a Waddle or all these wonderful players because he just was awful. Do you know anything, Nick, about Stuart
I
Nethercott?
just have to say before Nick speaks, when you say Gaza, Hoddle, Waddle, and then you mention Nethercott, there's just like, spot the difference.
It's
Find the odd one out.
Well, a lot of people come at me for my love of Emerson Royale, but Emerson Royale looks like a Ballon d'Or winner to Stuart Nethercott.
He does.
It's like comparing. It's like Emerson Royale is like Lionel Messi compared to Stuart Nethercott. So that's all I'm going to say, and we'll leave it at that because Brian's going to tell us how really good he was. No, he's not going to tell us that.
Listen. I will say, and I've said this story before. I've got knowing my luck. This will be the one player that watches one. We've seen Mickey Hazard has seen day 4.
Mickey Hazard
has seen day 4.
Listen,
Stuart Nethercott, nice guy, really nice guy. Met him a few times on the Legends circuit. Shocking footballer, shocking. I listen. The worst footballer I've ever seen play for Spurs in my life.
Brian, we've had some absolute shockers. Get that title,
mate. It should be an honour.
You know, when you said that, it was like when you were at school and you were going out. You had this girlfriend at school and she broke up with you and she said, "Oh, you got great personality." Is that what Stuart Nethercott is? He's the great personality of romance lines or something.
If ever the reason that I say this and the reason I've mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. I went to Jurgen Klinsmann had just arrived at Spurs. Spurs were buzzing. Spurs were unbeaten. We played at Matthew Le Tissier Southampton. This is when the Park Lane was getting built at the old stadium. And we went 1-0 up. Jurgen Klinsmann scored again, like he's on fire. Then a certain Judas who went down the road gave away a penalty and got sent off. The one thing he didn't do against Southampton was give away a penalty because there was a certain Matt Le Tissier 1-1. Should have won the game. And then in the 90 whatever minute, I was there. A cross comes in, easy, simple cross, takes a little bounce. Stuart Nethercott either did the worst air kick or the best dummy for an assist that I've ever seen because he completely misses the ball and on the 6-yard box, unmarked, said Matt Le Tissier, we lose 2-1. Listen, the one thing I will say, Stuart Nethercott, he tried his best. He gave it his all, but that weren't good enough. But now, moving on to someone who I loved. I loved. And for me, the reason Tottenham Hotspur got Champions League football for the first time weren't that Crouch goal, weren't Luka Modric. It was Wilson Palacios, Ben.
He was awesome. He was really awesome. It's a really weird era for Tottenham because we were sort of known as this really soft team. But Wilson Palacios came from Wigan and he added like an massive, that was a full-blown RSJ in the middle of that midfield. It was so strong when he came in and playing Sandro as well. That midfield three, Sandro, Palacios, and Modric, like you couldn't get through it. And then Modric did all the hard work. But then we added Rafael van der Vaart to that mix. So, okay. But Wilson Palacios he did everything he needed to do for Tottenham Hotspur. He worked his socks off. And we'll probably talk about the story of his brother that got kidnapped. And you know that story very well, Brian.
I'll bring
this
up
warrior. If you could describe one word for Wilson Palacios, it's not someone like a lot of people call Pierre-Emile Højbjerg a warrior. And he possibly is. Wilson Palacios was a warrior. Like he would fight tooth and nail for every ball, blood, sweat, and tears. He was an awesome player for Tottenham. Did it? It says one goal. I don't remember Wilson Palacios.
He scored one goal. He scored one goal as a deflected goal that went down as his.
But we all remember, I think every single person that supported Tottenham wanted Wilson Palacios to score that shot against the Arsenal.
Oh,
It was a belter of a shot, and unluckily, the Arsenal keeper saved it, but it was a belter of a shot.
yep. Nick, what's your memories of Wilson?
Yeah, no. So it was obviously like Ben was saying, he obviously his brother was kidnapped and they never found him. His one goal was against Hull City. He was played through by Robbie Keane and pointed to the
5-1.
Pointed to the heavens in tribute of his brother, who had obviously been sadly passed away or been found dead earlier on in that year. So it was his only goal, but it was for him to, you think about all the players that come from France, Germany, Spain, all of these players that come from, at that time they were coming sort of from those sorts, and then to come from Honduras, so left field. Do you know what I mean? I mean, people these days, if Paratici had done it, I'm sure someone would go, "Oh, he's cooking. He's got someone from Honduras that's going to be the next big thing." Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, he was one of a kind. He was no nonsense. He didn't care, and just a shame he couldn't get some more goals. And I mean, look, he only played 13 more games than Stuart Nethercutt, but he had much more of an influence than
he was a really good player. He should have been here longer, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe towards the end of his career, but he was not the hero we wanted, but he was the hero we needed at the time we needed him. And he got us to the Champions League, played against AC Milan, where we beat them 1-0.
Look at Ben dropping lines like he wasn't the hero we wanted. He was the hero. Ben is dropping it. Listen, I've got so much to say. I can't put into words how much I love this man, how much I love this player. People called Edgar Davids the Pitbull. I used to call this man the Rottweiler. And the reason I called him the Rottweiler, if you look at his neck muscles, I've never seen anything like it. He was. This is back in the time when Man City were just coming. They'd just been bought, in fact, by Sheikh Mansour, and it got to the point, and it wouldn't have happened in these days now, where they wanted Craig Bellamy, and so did we. We wanted Wilson Palacios, and so did they. And they actually spoke as a club and agreed that, all right, you want this one more, we want this one more. We'll drop out of this if you drop out of that. And Wilson Palacios came. And like you said, this is the days when Vieira and Keane and players of that ilk were vital in a football team. Claude Makelele was at Chelsea. This was when defensive midfielders became the thing. And we were going nowhere without some protection of the back four. And boy, what this man did was do that faultlessly. And we've spoken about the tragedy that happened, and people will know this story because Harry Redknapp said it many, many times. But you can judge a man by a lot of things, and respect and humility is one of them. And Harry Redknapp tells this story about the night he found out what had happened to his brother. We were away at Everton. They're at the team hotel. He found out at about 1-2 o'clock in the morning. And devastated, heartbroken, emotional, he just packed his bag and sat in the lobby on the sofas there till Harry Redknapp came down for breakfast. And reception said, "You need to go." He's been there for hours. And Harry was like, "What's up, son? What's happened? What you do?" He told him, and he goes, "Well, what the hell are you still here for? Why didn't you come and wake me? Or why haven't you just pissed off and left me a message?" He was like, "I didn't want to let you or the team down. I wanted to get your permission." And I know for a fact, if something like that, please God, never does happen to me, you ain't seeing me for dust. Like, ta-da, bye-bye. Don't care where I am. It doesn't matter. I'd have been right. Family need me.
Yeah.
What an incredible bit of respect. And one just goes to show what man he was, let alone, and obviously after he came back, he went on to Stoke, but he was never the same. But Wilson Palacios is a legend for me. And like I said, I'll never back down for the very
What
reason.
a human being he is.
The very reason we got Champions League for the first time, and an incredible. And like Nick said, who would have thought from Honduras? Very, very few players in the world make it from there, and he did. But we go on from one who I think was the reason. This guy for me, in the last season at the Lane, was our Player of the Year. Not Harry Kane, not Ericsson, not this man right here. Ben, talk to me about Victor Wanyama, or talk to us about Victor Wanyama.
He was a beast, this guy. I loved him as a football player. He was that sort of that yin and yang with Moussa Dembele. That they were them two as a unit. I would pray for a unit as good as them in midfield. They were unstoppable. They were so good together. Like if you like one of the people say about Judas, my mum says this when she used to go to the bell set, that when she used to see Judas in there, his legs were like absolute tree trunks. It's the same as Victor White. He was just a muscly beast. He was a beast of a human being, but that did not reduce from the fact that he was a top footballer. That him and Dembele as a midfield, I would love to have them two in midfield right now. They were absolutely monsters. He was a key part in that Pochettino midfield that went unbeaten at home in that last season. Again, it's another one. He was a meme. How much he loved his spaghetti, and the picture of him with the spaghetti. He was just with Wilson Plata, just another really good human being. But on the football pitch, he was an absolutely brilliant competitor. He competed for every ball, and he was just a wonderful footballer for Tottenham in that short stint he was here. It's a shame injuries took him from us. The ankle injuries. It's what happens when you're a physical footballer. But Nick, what do you remember about Victor Wanyama?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would talk about, the goal at Anfield. But yeah, look, he was the first Kenyan to play in the Premier League, the first Kenyan to score in the Champions League. Obviously, like you said, it's just a shame about his knee. He had the early 2017-18 season, he injured his knee and he was out for 4 months. And then he picked up another knee injury in pre-season against Barcelona. Funny enough, against Barcelona again, another injury for one of our players, 2018-2019 season. But he was a massive part of it. I mean, I think we signed him for 11 million. We sold him for 12 million. So it was back in those days. Look at that, 12 million. That's what we're not talking like 20, 30 years ago. We're talking 6, 7, sort of 8 years ago, and it's 12 million, 11 million. And for a player like that, it's insane. And he's still playing now. He's only 32. He's still playing over in Montreal.
Yep.
Go visit him, Dagul.
I'd love him when I heard he was coming to Canada. I was like, come on, cut. There's only one team you should join. You joined Thierry Henry, funnily enough. That's who signed him. Nick, had you finished, or was there more you wanted to say about Wanyama?
No.
Listen, so Wanyama, what can I say about this man? He was a monster at Celtic. Mm-hmm. He was a machine at Southampton. And boy, we should have had this guy years before he came. Like you said, that partnership with Dembele, I literally used to say that I think midfielders would run in the opposite direction rather than want to go through them, because you weren't getting through. You weren't. There's games at Leicester away when we won 6-2. 3 people are holding him, and he's just like, get away from me. Get up, just bang. That picture I had was when he scored the winning goal on his home debut against Palace.
Yeah,
that was a very, very. I remember that game for the rest of my life. It's when I was in a box because of Danny Rose's dad. Ledley King came and sat or stood and spoke to us for a bit. But I remember watching Tottenham train, and you can remember how close the pitch was to the stands and everything. I've never seen a guy so big as Victor Wanyama. That guy, like, you see him and he looks big. You see Dembele and you knew how strong he was, but you couldn't really see it. you bloody well could with Victor Wanyama.
Steve,
Like you said, I mean, we've just spoken, Nick, about a Honduras that made it. Now we've got a Kenyan from these
great
far
coffee as well.
He
Great
he was incredible, and like I said, I have had this argument, and I will continue to with so many people. He was our player of the season that season. Bar none. Listen, Kane got the goals, Ericsson got the assist, Delhi started, Son had come in. This man was the glue behind it all. And I'm just so happy. Kane got the last whipped Tottenham goal.
Yeah.
At the Lane last, but at least he can always remember on the final day at the Lane, I made an impact. I scored. He scored on the first home game of the season, scored on the last home game ever at the Lane. So another beast. Now we've done midfielders, central. We've done central defenders. Now we're coming to the star on top of the tree for a certain person, someone who's backed him more than most. I mean, I remember the time he kicked in was when you and me did the watch along, weren't it, against Fulham, where your passion for this man really kicked in. Mr. Shepherd's pie on his head, Mr. Nick, who's meant to be getting his hairdo. Ben, talk to us about Emerson, and then pass over to the chief of his fan club.
He's not the greatest player by any stretch of the imagination, but as I've said, this guy is a soldier. That is, if you could describe Emerson Royale in one word, it's a soldier. He's not the greatest footballer. He's not the greatest defender. He's not the greatest attacker. He doesn't score the most goals, but he's worth his weight in he is just an entertainer. And we'll get to Nick in a minute.
Nick's smiling
about his silly video. The video.
Here are some videos of silly and Auntie does the I found on the.
See, even Alexa wants to get involved.
Even Siri wants control of it. But he is just a laugh. And that's why he's at Tottenham. He's the joker. He's the class. He's the guy that brings everyone together. He's just a soldier. He spends £1 million to make himself a better footballer. He works his socks off to become a better footballer. There is not a single player in that training ground that applies himself as much as Emerson Royale. And although he's not the greatest footballer, he doesn't score the goals, he doesn't get the headlines. But my God, is he an important part of that squad. And he's just a laugh. Anyone that can take a picture of his wife while she's giving birth and just make it all about him, it's just hysterical. Just give it to Nick.
No, I was about to say, before you give it to Nick.
It's that pick.
Before you do give it to Nick, I have to say, the whole time, and people go back and watch this once you've watched the whole show and seen it, you know when people, like in the American movies, and they're talking about a boy or a girl that they love, and they're like, that's what Nick has just been like the whole time you've been speaking. So Nick, over to you, brother.
I mean, look, Ben's absolutely right. I think, look, for what he lacks in footballing ability, he certainly makes up with it, and then some, with just some of the funniest. Like, if you don't follow him on Instagram, go and follow him on Instagram, because he is the funniest. It's just ridiculous. He does a video of his wife giving birth to his son, and he overlays that with his own rap single. He's then 2 days after giving birth, he's releasing videos of him in the garden playing basketball, badminton, table tennis. And, you know, most people would be in the house, right? Not Emerson Royale. Emerson's right, what can we do? Just even yesterday, I saw a video when they were all walking into Hotspur Way in the morning, and they're asking them what the favourite song is. He starts singing Jingle Bells in Portuguese. Like, it's just like, he just, obviously he's had the crazy hairdos. Obviously, you know, if you look at everyone else, he's like, I'm gonna wear my socks down. I'm gonna wear, like, his shorts. I don't know about anyone else, but he looks like he's got the shorts that the basketball players wear, right? Yeah. They're like long and down to his knees. Like, they're not like the other ones, like everyone else, kind of short and everything else. he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Like when he was getting booed last season, he turned around and said, thanks for the support. He thought the fans were cheering him. This is how funny this guy is, right? And I swear, at some point, this guy will score the winning goal in the FA Cup final. Obviously, it can't be the League Cup final. In the FA Cup final, imagine he's the guy that goes and gets the winning goal to end our trophy drought after 585 years or whatever it's going to be at that point, right? And Emerson Royale's just there, and then he's just doing. I mean, look, this guy. I just, I've always. It's the funniest thing, in all the WhatsApp groups we're in, there are, you can go back and people will say, oh, you said this and you said that. The moment Emerson Royale signed, there's not been a bad word in the We Are Tottenham TV group. There's not been a bad word because everyone went back to try and find it. And I'll defend him. I will fight for him. People go, I can't believe you. People will go, I can't believe he's such a bad footballer. I say, it's just about him being a footballer. I will fight for him. And I live on this tightrope every game, right? A tightrope of either he does something bad and I'm waiting for my phone to just explode. Oh, Emerson's done this. Emerson's done that. Or if it's the other way, like against Brentford and when he scored the goal and everything else, I'm going at them with the whole army, the Emerson army, right? But with this one thing I will say, because it is the time of year, it's Christmas, peace to all men and all of that jazz and all that stuff we're told. We need to stop the Agendason Royale, please. If something happens, Agendason Royale. There's an Agendason Royale, right?
That's a hashtag. Agendason Royale.
If Son misses a goal, it's not Emerson's fault. If Romero gets sent off, it's not Emerson's fault. If Vicario lets a goal in, it's not Emerson's fault. We have to stop this, people. This Agendason Royale, we have to stop. And I will not stand for it. And I will fight for my boy. And I don't care. So please, 2024, no more Agendason Royale, please.
Agendason Royale. Do you know what? I don't even know what I say anymore now. Agendason Royale. Listen, when we signed him, he did another rap video as his release, blah, blah, blah. And we got told by Barcelona they were laughing and couldn't believe they got the price for us. Or the price for him, sorry. And he did start off very, very poorly. He did. There's no doubt about it. But one thing that I always ask, and we as Spurs fans ask, is we want to see our players put in a shift. We want to see our players fight for the badge. We want to see our players try. There has been a miraculous change in him. Miraculous. I remember, like I said, I refer back to a game Nick and I were doing, and we did a few watch-alongs together that were always great fun. Later on in the season, it was known for Dagul ranting, shockingly. But the beginning of these watch-alongs was known for Nick having red and black wine gums, and they made him exceedingly hyper. And I do mean exceedingly hyper. One of the games, or the first game, was it was a game where actually Harry Kane equalled the record of Jimmy Greaves at Fulham, and he played that first time as like an introverted, and he went from blowing outside of the foot passes, a bit of Brazilian step-overs. I was like, wait a minute. And then from then, he had about a month and a half where he became like a cult hero. And then obviously he scored that goal against West Ham. I mean, why Ben Davies was crossing to Emerson in an Antonio Conte system, I have no idea. But as it came to him, I thought, oh, Emerson, please, just hit the target. Made the goal kick. A beautiful sidestep. I was like, Jesus Christ. And he came in for a lot of stick. And I don't like booing players. I don't like booing our own players. It's not, no matter how bad they are. Then it came out that he'd invested a load of money to have a gym at home to dedicate his work. You got to remember, with these players coming abroad, it's the language, it's the culture. Listen, he is no Tottenham saviour. He won't go down in the Tottenham Hall of Fame as the greats. But his work rate, he has got an infectious personality. And we've just come off a time where our defence has been depleted. He's been asked to play out of position. Whether they've been good performances or not, up for debate, whatever we could say. but no one can say he didn't put the effort in. No one can say Emerson went on that pitch and came off without trying. Nick has got cult hero status with him, or he's got it, and you can see why he's got a bit of a cult following. He's a jack of all trades.
He's hilarious.
He does grow the wacky haircuts, and he just got it's part of his personality. He has got such an infectious personality from what we see, and yeah, just like I said, he definitely sprinkles some samba fun and samba. Like I said, again, we judge him as a player. Could he be better? 100% yes. But I think you'll be far and few between in that current Spurs squad to see who can apply themselves with more effort and give their all. And Ben, that's a perfect way to round it off, isn't it? But Nick, as we do, mate, we like to let the guests give a little plug for whatever they want or wherever they are. What are you going to plug, sir?
2024, the year of no Agendason Royale. That is what I'm going to plug. That is what I'm going to plug. We're going to see. We're going to just back him. Like Brian said, he's been out of position. You could argue that he let Haaland for an open goal at the Etihad the other week. But you could argue that he got into his head and he thought, how has Emerson given me all this space? How can I not miss? And he did miss because he had to think about it. So Emerson keeps doing Emerson things, and he'll continue to do Emerson things, and I'll continue to back him, and I will fight his corner till the day he is no longer a Tottenham Hotspur player. And that will be a very sad day for me personally, maybe not for a lot of others.
The second it happens, Nick, I promise you'll get a message from me going, you know, like Jamie Carragher with Thierry Henry when
puts his hand on his knee.
I'll send you a message across the pond just to check up on you. But Ben, we've got loads of stuff coming up, and people will know Angel Management, the Advent Calendar, Doodle Do, yada yada yada. What's coming up on the coffee company?
Usual stuff, Brian. It's the 12 days before Christmas, so please get your coffee company coffee in. We've got a Christmas coffee at the moment, which you should all try. You can buy it on the website. We've got plenty of it. But yeah, come by for the chill vibes on the Coffee Company YouTube channel. We have everyone from the community stop by and just have a laugh with. It's just a nice place to be, but definitely get over there at some point. But it's always nice to have this. But from everyone over at Tottenham on Tour, we wish you a wonderful Christmas season and a wonderful festive period. Have a wonderful time. Spoil yourself. Eat plenty of food, loads of drink, all that jazz. Thank you all so much for watching. And come on, you Spurs.
Go on, you Spurs.
Go on, you Spurs.